Good evening. Who's on here? Uh-oh. Dang it. Hey, where you been at, Coolest? I ain't seen you in a minute. Hey, David. I miss you too. I ain't gonna be here long because my phone's gonna I don't have that much battery life, so I'm just going to start the live stream in the next few minutes. You been working? Well, that's good. That's a good thing. You lucky. 91. It's been what? I don't know what the degrees been. I think it's been around. Well, it's been foggy and raining, but right now it's kind of real foggy. It's probably been about in the 40s, I would say. Well, that's why I'm going to do this briefing of the live stream, and I'll probably do a tape one too. I'm going to tape it too. Not tape it. I'm going to do a recording. So anyway, let me start with y'all too, because I don't want to waste too much battery life. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe, like, and share. I was delivering Instacart in this Insta heat. Well, tell me how's it going with Instacart, David? Cause you know what? I went into the Instacart group on Facebook the other day, and let me tell you, guess what? They reinstated me back. And the only reason why I went on the Instacart group was because I was inquiring about that settlement check. And in that inquiring about that settlement check, which was $62 or $64 or whatever it was. It wasn't $300. I thought it was, I sworn it was supposed to be at least $300. But anyway, so my curiosity got the hold of me, and I went on the Facebook group, and then I started seeing a lot of people saying they had got reinstated back with Instacart. And I was like, let me see about my status, because I wanted to see if my profile was still there, because I wanted to go back and check to see if I had kept copies of my payments and money that I was making, because I think they calculated my thing wrong. So in the process of trying to check if my information was on the app, I saw it says welcome Teresa. I was like, what? So I went to proceed further, and they said, oh, we just need to identify you. So I took a picture of my driver's license, and next thing you know, all of my information says we'll be delivering your new card in the mail for Instacart. You'll get it in the mail. And I saw that my banking information was still the same for direct deposit and everything. So I had to change my banking information because I had closed that account. And next thing you know, Instacart talking about they gonna be mailing me a card, and my account was activated back. And I was like, I didn't have to take no tests, I didn't have to go to no interview process or nothing. But anyway, I got enough people on here, so let me start. So the other day, I went to the library on Thursday, and I picked up a 1040 form and also the book. I'm gonna do another video because I don't want to go this on live stream. And let me tell you, I got permission for one of the persons who's a loyal subscriber friend. I did their taxes, and this is the second year in a row. And this person doesn't make a lot of money, but they owed the government, federal and the state. I was like, what? And I didn't even put their 1099 income on their return, so I have to add it on. But in doing so, let me go over this new changes. Now, number one, the major change is the simplification of the form is only one. This is it. This is the only section of the form, if you could see that. It used to be 2 sides for the 1040, and now it's only half of a page. Look, half, that's it. Front and back, that's it. There is no, hey Lillian, there is no 1040 EZ. There is no more 1040A. It's only going to be one simple form, which is half of the page. Look, you see? Look, that's it. This is it. And this is the back. It used to be a whole page. I don't know who they fooling, but if you put the information from this back page to this blank section over here, is only one section and one thing. And that means basically they eliminated a lot of the credits that people were entitled to get. So let's go over some of the things briefly. Now, this is the 1040, and it comes with schedules 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Most of us, or most people, you're only going to need to worry about section 1, not 1048 form. I'm talking about the section. When I mean section, I'm talking about this. See how it has section 1. This is section 2. This is section 3, 4, and 5, and 6. Let me go over each one of them. Now, most people, you're either going to worry about using section 1, which takes care of things like if you got unemployment compensation, you won the lottery, or prizes or awards money, gambling winnings, which includes losses as well, and you have deductions to claim such as student loan interest, deductible self-employment tax, and educator's expense. If you're a teacher, you get to deduct like $30 of school supplies that you spend on your own money. But that doesn't apply to a lot. That's not even a lot. That doesn't even put a big dent. And that's it. There is nothing you cannot claim. You know how people say I could claim exemptions and I could claim 2, 3 dependents? You can't do that no more. They eliminated that. But what they did was they changed the standard deductions, which is double. So, for instance, if you was filing single, your new standard deduction is double. It's $12,000. That means once you add up all your 1099s, 1040, you could deduct as a single person $12,000. Married filing joint, that deduction, let me see. And let me tell you, $12,000. Of course, if you're 65 years or older, is $13,600. Married filing joint is $24,000, and of course, if you're older, is going up $25,300, and $26,600 for both spouses if both your spouses 65 years or up. So you have a high. Then if you're married filing separate, then married filing separate and your gross income it says $5, but that's head of household $18,000. If you're 65 years and older, $19,600. Qualifying widower. So for those who had a spouse and they were married, the spouse passed away, it's $24,000, which is the same thing as married filing joint. So what they did was eliminated the exemptions. So at one time, you was able to deduct your exemptions. You say, I got me, my mother, da-da-da. People claiming you can't exempt. That doesn't exist anymore. That's eliminated. So you don't have to. For those who worrying about trying to claim dependents and the spouse, like, who's supposed to claim the dependent, and I'm supposed to claim the dependent. No, my ex-husband or my ex-wife, I'm supposed to claim. There is no more. You can't claim those dependents anymore. I've been watching you for a year. Yay! You know what? It's been over a year. So, but thanks. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get 1,000 subscribers this year. And a purpose for life. So let me tell you, the two obvious things was how they simplified this form. Now this also applies to filing electronically. I'm just showing you the paper version. I hope y'all can see it. See, I'm just showing y'all the paper version, because when you go online, or if someone does your return electronically, it's not a whole lot of things to do. Now, if you're self-employed or 1099, you want to focus on Schedule 1. This is Schedule 1. Y'all can see? Tell me if let me turn my camera around. Let me see. Oops. Dang it, it won't let me turn it. Schedule 1. Schedule 1, what's the most you think someone should change to do someone? Well, I'm charging $125, but if you're self-employed and you have deductions and business expenses and you want to maximize more than those standard deduction amounts I gave you, companies I know, they charge either way from $400, $500, because it's the amount of work involved. And let me tell you, if you go to a tax preparer, the minimum they're going to charge for a simple return, which is nothing involving, can you check my mileage and this and that and all my receipts? A simple return, they're going to charge at least $100, $150, $200 or more. I'm charging $125, $150, and I also will do the state as well, included for free if you live in a state that pays state income tax. If you have questions in regards to what information you need to submit, if you decide to do it on your own, I could consult you one-on-one, making sure how to put your information together and what you need to do to not get audited from the IRS. Because let me tell you, if you are self-employed, 1099, and you choose to deduct and say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna take the miles, or I'm gonna take the standard deductions, it has to be more than $12,000 if you're single. And I only gave that as an example. So if your itemized deductions are more than those deductions that I just quoted, most likely at a certain point, the IRS is going to ask for receipts. And I'm not talking about just have a whole bunch of loose receipts. They're going to ask for proof of those deductions. But that's another video, and I want to really do another video on how you deduct your business expenses, especially if you're in a ride-sharing gig. If you're in a ride-sharing gig, the gas, the 54 cents a mile that you're able to deduct if you keep track of your mileage. And if you didn't keep track of your mileage, I will tell you how you could submit proof of mileage if you never kept track of your miles for the whole year. And that takes a lot of work to do. So when you go to a tax preparer to help them do your return, and a lot of times they're going to ask for a lot of money to prepare it. But don't follow the statements you get from Uber or Lyft when it shows you the miles, because that's only miles picking up the customer and dropping them off. A lot of times people have a lot of empty miles, meaning, for me, let me give my example. I kept track of my miles, and when I do my return and when I get a hold of a computer where I get to share my screen, I'm going to show you my last year's mileage when I kept track of it on Stride. I was very vigilant in keeping track of my miles every day when I was out and about. And also miles that I should also include is if you were looking for a job. A lot of people don't realize looking for a job, going to interviews, spending clothes for interviews, that's deductible too, but that's a whole different schedule. And I'm gonna go over that because that is going to be under the Schedule C. So there's more to these schedules that we have to focus on. So the other major changes, so that's the one major change. And one of the things that I learned in doing this person's return, they did give me permission to discuss their return, but I'm not going to show any of the information. This person made about $33,000 plus they took a deduction from their IRA account, which was an early withdrawal for hardship. And the reason why this person owed was because even though they paid almost $2,500 worth of taxes on $33,000 of income, they owed $500 and something odd dollars to the IRS. Please make sure your internet is running. Well, Zifty, you know what? I'm not going to get 90% of being on board today, and I only made, so at this point, I'm just going to stay in this Kroger parking lot for a few more minutes and finish my live stream. So anyway, I got notification because I'm doing Zifty, and it's been slow. I only made $40 in 3 deliveries, and I'm probably only going to get $37 because they're going to not give me that extra $3 per delivery, but that's all right. So anywho, so back to the person I was doing. So last year they were able to get a good they didn't get like a big large refund, but they got a refund last year. They had worked at the same companies, the same 2 jobs, but I was like, dog, I'm hoping that I missed something. I know I missed the 1099 for they did Grubhub, but it's going to increase their money to owe. So I looked at their W-2s and I said, well, you're not taking enough money out of your 10-4. You need to change your deductions to 0. Even though they probably had the correct withholdings, but because they didn't have anything higher to deduct, meaning they didn't have any dependents to claim, they didn't have a mortgage or any, they didn't have anything. So I said, you need to increase your taxes more. But one thing I could tell you for sure, I don't care what anyone say, this new tax law changes is not saving anyone taxes. If anything, you may get 15-16% less. If you're getting a refund, your refund's going to be less this year, or a lot of y'all are going to owe. And I said, dang, if this person who only did Grubhub made about $1,000 for the whole year, they didn't do Grubhub a lot, they had a regular job working at a hotel and also working at a grocery store, they had owed $500 something. And I said, dang, I hope and pray that I did not, that maybe I wasn't finished and maybe they qualify for earned income credit or something. But I'm going to work with that. Because I'm going to try to lower that taxes as much as I can. But the one thing I did tell people, and I always try to tell people, make sure that you have enough taxes taken out of your check throughout the year. Number 2, please do not follow anyone's advice. And this is one thing that makes me cringe. oh, I just take all my paperwork and I just give it to the tax person. No, you don't just give all your paperwork to the tax person and thinking they just going to miraculously find you a refund. Nobody cannot find you a refund. Unfortunately, nobody can miraculously give you more money because, number one, all a refund is overpayment in taxes. Whatever you paid in taxes through your withholdings from your regular job and you're getting a refund, that means rather than you're supposed to pay $4,000 of taxes, but you getting back $1,000 something. That just means you paid $5,000 of the $4,000 of taxes you're required to pay. So that's what a refund is. Another major thing with these new tax law changes is that it eliminated a lot of the credits. It did increase the child tax credit, but if you have 5-6 children, and at one time you was able to claim all those 6-7 children, now they said nope. They gave you an increase, but to be honest, that okay, you're gonna let me in, but to be honest, they're doubling up on the standard deductions, eliminated the exemptions, you know, and it made the typical taxes higher. That's how they hid the increase in tax. They say, okay, Trump and all Republicans and whoever signed off on that new tax law bill, all they did was eliminated a lot of the credits and eliminated, they said that now the tax rate is 10, 15, 20, 25, 30%. And that's, you know, but that's based on what your income is. But at the same time, I was like, that doesn't benefit someone who makes 30. If you're making 30,000 and up, I'm sorry if it's dark, I'm just driving. If you're making 30,000 and up, 33,000, and you working a regular old job, all it did was make you have to pay more taxes throughout the year. Then I said to this person, man, if this person owe, can you imagine all these everybody who do Uber, Lyft, and all these other companies, and these 1099 gig jobs full time? And I know for a fact ain't none of y'all paid no estimated taxes quarterly. I've been stressing that for the longest. I said, if this person owed, I feel sorry for the ones who got 1099, who've been doing these gig jobs. Even if you're doing on a part-time basis, $400 or $500. Say you're making $400 or $500 a week, and you do that all year round. You may think you don't do it a long time. You may say, I don't make that much. I don't do it that long. Do it for a whole year from January to December, and take a few weeks off here and there. But yet you still making $200-300 extra a week. At the end of the year, with your regular job, you're going to see how you're going to owe more money. You're going to see how you're going to barely get a tax credit. The only people who's going to benefit from this, and this is what I'm saying, the only people who's going to benefit from this is if you so happen to still have younger children, you're still able to take the child tax credit, and that child tax credit is going to help. But if you don't have any children, you got some teenagers, 15, 16, they don't qualify for child tax credit. They're too old. You can't claim them as an exemption. You can't claim the exemption amount anymore. That's gone. So the difference between last year is that even if you had children or teenagers and they still in school, in college, you still provide 50% of the support and all those things. What's going to really hurt a lot of people is the fact that you cannot take the exemptions anymore. You cannot claim me and someone else and say I got an exemption. That thing eliminated, that doubled the standard deductions, 12,000, 13, whatever I said. That basically created a lot of, let me go down this way. That created a lower tax, not a lower tax rate, but it kind of wipes out a lot of people expecting a big refund this year. You know, it really did, and it did not make that. And I looked at that person's return. It was the simplest return. I didn't even do a Schedule C. I didn't do a Schedule C yet, but I'm going to try to see if I could increase that $12,000 standard deduction and try to increase it to at least maybe $15,000 of write-offs that I could see. Maybe I could find it, but I doubt it, because one of the things the IRS does is that if your deductions, I'm talking about Schedule A, if that is more, if I'm not going to tell y'all really because I'm not supposed to, but if you have an issue or concern and you have a lot of deductions and you say, okay, Teresa, I got 25,000, send me a message privately and I could tell you, because I don't want to say anything on the live stream, because just in case somebody, look at this person's video, she says she used to work for the, and this, even though it can't do nothing to me, but I can't trust people, because I try to help people, give them advice, and all I did is get screwed over. And some people I know, they try to milk my knowledge, and then something done. You got all that free information from me. I started this person, how to start their business, how to do this, and all that, manpower advice. Even if we bartered, it would have been an even swap, but no. But that's another video. That happened almost over a year ago. And there used to be, and this subscriber lived here in Atlanta, and they did that. They did that. This person made $60,000 plus a year, and I was telling them about, I said, you better make sure, because if you doing 400 a week, 500 a week doing Zifty, it wasn't that I was hating on them because they was making a lot of money or whatever. That's their business. But I was telling them, you putting yourself in a new tax bracket, and you gonna owe. But no, they wanted me to do their tax return, got into their little feelings over something that happened, and then you gonna tell me you gonna take it to someone else. I had a couple people tell me, I'm gonna go to someone else. You asked me to death, bug me to death about things. What am I supposed to do, and how am I supposed to do it? And nope, never again. Never again. I'm not gonna do it. So I had one person, I had to keep repeating myself over and over again, call me on the phone, and then I'm supposed to meet them somewhere. I say, no, we're gonna schedule meet me at a certain place. Well, how do they said I got a penalty on my health insurance, and I keep telling them over and over again. I said, I can't make magic. I can't change and make up stuff. All I could do is go over information that I asked for. If I ask for, please give me or show me, I'm not going to steal anybody's information. I could meet you at a public place, and I could say, okay, show me statements. I need this. I ask for specific things in order for me to show and go back and calculate your miles. You know how much work it took? You know how much work it is to do that? It's a lot. It's a lot. And I tell you, a lot of people I know, they get comfortable in letting people help them. Well, not help them. They give people information. Well, that person said they're going to help get some more money. No, you going to a certain person because they're doing something unethical, illegal, and then when I ask people, well, how did they explain it or what did they do? I always try to explain people. If it's an issue or concern that I show, I'm going to let you know. I'm going to give you my reasons why. I'm going to back it up with the tax code. I'm going to back it up with information, not just give a flippant answer that has no bearing and no truth. And one thing is, I need to start letting people, if they want to believe it and I'm telling them it's wrong, I'm not going to get myself all hyped up over it. I'm not going to, because I can't convince people when wrong is wrong. But I know one thing. I always said, okay, you know what? That's what you want to believe. My years of experience don't mean nothing. I guess everything that I've said, and I worked it. That's what I did. That's what I did for the last 10, 11 years. You know, since 1996, when I worked at the IRS, when I first moved to Atlanta, 97 tax season, and then back in 2006 till 2000. So all those years experience don't mean nothing, you know. But you can't tell some people nothing. They just want to see. The problem is people always want to do stuff for free. Now, if I do your return for free, and I used to do people's return for free because I was working at the IRS, and I used to, you can start a business at the same time doing taxes. That's a conflict of interest, and it was unethical and it was against the rules. But I don't work at the IRS anymore. So all the knowledge that I gained, I share it with y'all on YouTube. And I don't have no problems answering people's questions. I don't have any problems advising people accordingly. But I always say, if you have someone doing it, even if it is Jackson Hewitt, H&R Block or whatever, they do things wrong too. But if you go into a person, they say they've been doing my return for years and they ain't got no tax business. They just do taxes just because they say it, and they got their friends and family members doing it. They're not doing nothing no more different than what you could do yourself, to be honest. They're not doing anything different. I'm not doing anything different than anyone could do themselves. But, this person asked me, and I didn't have any problems helping them. And I consider this person a friend. Just like I consider most of y'all friends. I haven't met a lot of y'all personally, but I don't mind answering the emails. I don't mind answering questions. Some ridiculous fees, $400, $500. Plain that return, line by line, form by form. Even if you don't understand it, shoot, let them work for their fee. Don't pay no one no $300 just because you give them a big envelope with all your paperwork, and then they come back and say, here you go, and that's it, and you don't know anything. You don't have no understanding of what you're doing. You don't know why. And another thing, and number two, and I'm not gonna beat it to the horse. Number two, if you're a 1099 gig driver doing Uber, Lyft, Grubhub, full-time or whatever, and whoever does your taxes, and they have not given you the estimated tax booklet or vouchers, and they don't tell you, okay, so and so and so every quarter in April, July, December, and January the following year, you are to make $400 4 times a year, $500 5 times a year. If they don't tell you any figures, you don't need to be using them. You don't need to use them. Because if they're not telling you and cannot figure out what your estimated taxes is supposed to be, and you working 1099, and it goes for not just full-time 1099 gig economy workers, but part-time. If they can't tell you what you're supposed to pay, then you don't need to be working with them. They don't know. They're not doing anything. Other thing they're doing is plugging in numbers in a software. You go to use Credit Karma, TurboTax for free and do it. But you need to work with someone who has a tax planning for yourself. Help you with your tax planning. Help you with things you need to do throughout the year, not just changing your W-2s. That's an important thing. But let me tell you, if they simplify this form, I'm sorry if it's dark. If they simplify this form into this little section like this, look at this. This don't make no sense. I was shocked when I saw it. Look at this. That's it. They could have saved themselves and put this page in the back and put this on one page, and that would have been it. I don't know why are you gonna put, they put a half of a page on front and back. You could have put that in the front, and that was it. One form, one side. And trust me, it used to, and let me tell you the reason why they're doing that and what that means. And they only using one form. There's no 1040EZ, there ain't no 1040A. 1040, it's because 70% of the things you were able to deduct at one time, they had eliminated it. It's eliminated. No more. No more. And this is just the beginning. Come next year, see, right around when tax season is due, April 15th, or Patriots Day if you live in Massachusetts, or Emancipation Day if you live in Washington, D.C. That's when they're gonna start arguing again about eliminating other things they're not gonna allow. I hate to say this, but as more and more jobs and more organizations are not hiring employees, they now, hiring people to do 1099, or going to the different grocery stores and checking the inventory and things like that. There used to be companies you work for and they'll pay you as a regular employee. Now you're a 1099. Displaying their merchandise, collecting data, when employees used to be able to do it. Now you're an independent contractor, and there's companies and a lot of jobs and positions are converting to that. I went to the bank yesterday, Bank of America. I went to the teller machine, talking about the windows are closed. They don't have tellers no more at the window. So I go into the branch. Then they got this big old machine that could do everything. So they don't have any tellers. Bank of America, I was like, this is the worst. They got 2-3 tellers and that's it. And eventually they're going to eliminate tellers. Everything's going to be done on a machine. If you want to cash your check, you go to the teller. If you want to make a deposit, you go to the machine. Everything. McDonald's, no more cashier. They need to fire most of those people at McDonald's. They slow ass, nasty ass food. And now you don't have to go to a cashier to give you your money. You just place the order on the machine, and then they got one person. All they do is get the food, and they only got 2 people. So they're eliminating, at a staff of 10 people at a McDonald's to do everything from the back to the front counter. Now it's like half of the staff. You don't even need all those people to do stuff like that anymore. Either your job is going to be outsourced as a 1099 independent contractor, or it's going to be taken over by computers, robots and stuff. And what does that leave? The tax system. They're gonna have to get some revenue somehow. And how are they gonna get revenue from the taxes? How are they gonna do it? Come on now, I'm not doing Zifty. I'm already finished for the night. I didn't even get my 90%. So I'll just collect my little $37 for 3 deliveries. So, what does that mean for regular, ordinary folks in the future that's no longer would taxes be collected from the W-2, because most of these jobs are not going to be W-2. It's going to be 1099. And what does that factor in is that if you're an independent contractor, you're supposed to pay quarterly estimated taxes. And most people, according to the New York Times, and I do read up online on reputable sources, that 70-something% of people are not paying the quarterly estimated taxes adequately, and the IRS has not assessed the penalties correctly. They haven't done that. Now, let me speak on that real quick. The IRS has 10 years to assess your taxes. That means they could go back and assess any penalties or audit any return. I'm going to say audit. They could, look at any return